Hi, everybody. Good evening. My name is Pam Townsend. I'm the Assistant Finance Director here at the city. We're really glad that you're all here to join us this evening. This is our first of two informational open houses. We want to give you a little more information about the background of the water rates and what's driving those increases. I know that everyone in this room probably received a 218 notice. You probably have some questions. We're going to try to answer some of them in a quick presentation, and then after that, we've got some stations set up in the back with some experts that can answer any questions that you might have. So with that, let's jump on in. So first things first, what makes up your water and sewer rates? A couple things. When we're considering our sewer rates, or water and sewer rates, we need to take into consideration available cash, meaning how much money do we have on hand? How much money do we have on the bank, in the bank, to do all of the things that we need to do? The next thing we have to take into consideration is anticipated revenues. How much money are we anticipating that we are going to bring in? Next, we're going to look at our operational expenditures. How much money do we need in order to do our day-to-day, everyday operations? And then we need to look at our capital expenditures. So what big projects do we have in the next few years that might impact some of these rates? We have to have money available to do those projects. So all of those things together make up our proposed rates. So let's take a look at water really quickly. In water, you'll notice that we have many factors that are affecting water. The first, we have dwindling cash on hand. So the cash on hand is lower than it might be in another fund. So that affects our available cash. Next, we have a reduced water demand. That means conservation efforts, using less water. While that's really great, it also means that less money is coming into the city. We're getting less revenue for water. Next, we have rising operational costs. So much like I know your day-to-day experience has been that costs have continued to go up, we are also seeing the same specifically in things like purchased water and electricity. And next is capital projects. We're going to pause on that for just a minute because I do want to highlight some important planned projects that we have, but really all four of those different factors are affecting the water fund. So here's a list of some planned improvements that we have, some planned capital projects, but I really want to focus on these top three right here, Well E, Well F, and the Charter Oak pump stations. And I really want to focus on these because all of these things are going to affect one of those factors we just discussed. So the wells, that's going to increase our production. We are going to have more water to dole out. So that's going to lower some operating expenses because it means we don't have to purchase as much. The next is the Charter Oak pump station, and I want to highlight that because that pump station is going to change our ability to pump our cheaper water to more areas within the city. So when that is online, we will see some reductions in our anticipated expenditures. Now let's take a look at sewer. Sewer's a little bit of a different story. You can see that these two bars right here, the available cash and the anticipated revenues, I have blurred those out because while they are factors that we consider in sewer, they are not the main drivers of the story here. The main factors affecting sewer are rising operational costs, the same issues that we were experiencing on the water side, and also some large anticipated capital projects. And we're going to go into that in just a minute. So here you can see some important planned improvements that we have on the sewer side for our capital projects. But I really want to focus on this first one, the water reclamation plant upgrades. So let's talk about our water reclamation plant. Our existing plant was built in 1957. We are still using that today. That is almost 70 years old. And it is true, we had some plant expansions in the 60s and again in the 70s and again in the 90s and again in the early 2000s. But when we're talking about an investment of this size, when we're talking about a capital project that we are going to completely revamp a water reclamation plant, we are talking about an investment that's not just for us today, it's not just for our children, it is for us, it is for our children, it is for our children's children, it is for our children's children's children. We are talking about a 70, 75-year investment in our future. So let's take a look at our existing water plant. As mentioned, that was built in 1957. So we've got things like crumbling infrastructure, we've got corrosion, we've got some cracks, we've got more corrosion, and we have gone to great lengths to make sure that we are trying to expand and maintain the existing structure that we have, but we are now at a point where we need to look to the future. We need a longer-term solution. So when we talk about the water reclamation plant, we're really looking for something that's not just a quick fix. It is something that's going to benefit us for years to come. So you might be asking, okay, I understand that. How does that affect me? Well, I think it might be helpful for me to show you exactly how this might affect your rates specifically. So, for the average or typical household, we expect on the water side an increase of $14.90. Now, what does it mean to be a typical or average household? Here we are defining a typical household as a single-family home that is using 12 units of water. Just a little bit of technicality, a unit of water is going to be 100 cubic feet, which is the equivalent of about 748 gallons of water. Now, you might use more, you might use less, but just for purposes of this example, we're going to use 12. So, a couple things about water. As you may know, water has two components to it. It has a fixed charge and it has a usage charge. So there's a meter service charge. This is what you pay regardless of how much water you use. You probably saw this chart in your 218 notice. And this gold box right here indicates the current rates. This one right here indicates what we propose that they be July 1. And for most single-family homes, you're gonna live in this 3/4 inch meter size, which means that right now you pay $26.19, but come July 1, that would be $32.48. So we're gonna add this to the cart to see how we calculate your new rate. The next side is your usage. So usage is variable, and that is billed based off of your tier. Well, what is a tier? A tier 1 would mean all of the units that you've spent from 0 to 9. Tier 2 is 10 to 15 units, and tier 3 is 16 plus. So if you were using 12 units of water in a given month, that means that you would have 9 units at tier 1 and 3 units, the difference between 12 and 9, at tier 2. So this is your current rate. This is what we are proposing. We are looking specifically at tier 1 and tier 2. We are not looking at tier 3 because in this case, we have not yet gone to the 16. But we're gonna take these two numbers right here and we're gonna add them to the cart and see what that looks like. So, for your typical 12 usage household, you have your 1 fixed unit cost of $32.48. You have 9 units at $3.30. You have 3 units at $4.89. And in total, that's $76.85. Again, that is a $14.90 increase over the current rates. It's probably worthwhile to note that that's still less than a penny a gallon, but we do recognize that this is sizable. So let's take a look at sewer. Most folks are water and sewer customers. Good news, sewer is a little bit of an easier calculation. Unlike water, it is not based off of usage. So it is a fixed fee no matter what. So again, this is your current rate. This is the proposed rate. And most of us fall within a single-family residential property, or at least in this example, that's what we're looking at. So we're gonna take this $86, we'll add that to cart, and we're gonna take a look at what that means in total. So here is your combined monthly bill impact that is proposed. You see the $76.85 down there on the bottom, that's your water. You see the $86.19 on top, that's your sewer, and in total, that would be a combined bill of $163.04. Now you can compare that to your current bill of $136.25. That is an increase of $26.79, which we recognize is a sizable increase. One thing that's probably worth noting, however, is that other agencies around us are experiencing similar things. This is a chart that shows all of the combined bill impacts for some of our neighboring agencies, and you can see right now, third from the bottom, that is our current situation. Camarillo is located right at the bottom. With these proposed increases, that would put us right smack dab in the middle. However, we do want to note that all of these agencies that are highlighted in yellow are currently in the middle of either a water study, a sewer study, or both. So it is very likely that those agencies will also move upwards. If you have any questions or if you want to see your specific bill, we recommend that you go to the city's website, cityofcamarillo.org/utility rates. We've built a calculator on there where you can take your bill and estimate based off of your own usage what your specific impact is going to be. And if you have any questions,